is something that has to be done today. All right, so let's just get talking about it, JC. 24-hour economy. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's got a lot of benefits. It's got a lot of things that we have to look out for, like job creation is one of those, infrastructure efficiency. And I think if you just talk about infrastructure efficiency and street lighting, that is about security and all that. I feel in Zambia, first of all, we needed to chill a little bit. We needed to work on the infrastructure that can take it. Yeah, that can take in the 24-hour economy. For example, street lighting. How many streets have you ever seen in Zambia that are lit? You know, with lights, proper lights. You know, because that's a security conscious that we need to have, and we have to look at all those things. Are very, very important things that we have to look at. Number two, what about infrastructures? Do we have that can manage to go 24/7? I know that there's some businesses that have gone through that. That have already started performing in 24/7. I'll give an example of Young Philos. Young Philos is 24/7. I think we do have one in Kabwata. You can even go and buy at 01. But obviously you can't, because security is not really viable in those particular places. But I think we have to push in terms of how we're going to secure the people that will be working. But it is going to create jobs, because you can imagine that it needs it's going to be a demand that a lot of people will be needed to have to work in shifts. For example, those that will be working up to 18 hours from morning to 18 hours, or the one that they call 6 to 6. And then there are those that will be working in the night, and probably in the night it will be longer than the morning probably. So you have to have some people that will be working at night, and so many job creations that will come through. And we have to work on the lighting, street lighting, because it's security conscious. We have to be security conscious. And so all the streets will have that. And you know that, Rats are also mentioned to say the ban is still there for buses, but the stations will be open 24/7 for customers, for services and everything. If you go to Intercity, it's already there. I think if you ask me, I've been to Intercity at 04. I do remember at one point we were receiving this boxer, Joseph, who came through. We went there at midnight. He arrived at 24 hours, midnight. I think that's when he arrived. We were there because obviously there's some few things that they needed to do. Probably after 01, we were still there. And you can imagine how lit it was, people really running around doing business.
I once bought some tea around 01.
Around 01. And you know what? I was like, because he was hungry, so so we needed to buy food for him. So we needed to buy some food for him. We bought food and he started eating there. And we left around 04. It was like it's a different city that you are in. Like it's not in Lusaka, And I haven't been there until then. I haven't been there to see exactly what really happens and what goes on there. But the fact of the matter is that for the ban, I think for trucks they've been allowed to move at night because obviously productivity and everything has to go on. So obviously it's working. And then you've seen what really this is going to do, because if you really look at Chinese, they work at night. In most cases, there are certain jobs that are supposed to be worked at night.
For instance, road maintenance. Where you just
can't
have
be working,
a small patch where you have
small patch. You have to close the road.
Cause traffic.
And we don't have a lot of road network, so probably we're going to cause traffic. But I feel if we work at night, when there are no people around or no traffic around and not going to disturb a lot of people, I think it is efficient, very efficient. And you remember that when Hero Stadium was built, or Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, they were building, mostly they were working at night. And Zambians complained, why do we have to work
trucks, tipper trucks going all the way to somewhere, Kafue, to get sand, they were using there in the night.
In the night.
And they didn't obstruct traffic during the day.
And then of course, us Zambians being people who we started complaining.
So, us being Zambians.
Us being Zambians, we complained and said, no, these Chinese people don't know how to work with people because they are using it at night. But obviously it's productivity. But by the time that you come, and there's certain buildings, and there's a certain building that people are saying, I don't see people building, but I see improvements every day. So they work at night when we are sleeping. They are working. And they're doing everything that they are supposed to do. And for me, it is going to boost our economy, because a lot of people will be busy. They will be working. You don't have to worry about all these things. And then banks have already said that there will be compliant.
The Bankers Association.
Yes, so they said they're going to help out in the 24-hour economy. They will do everything possible to make sure that everything is in place. This is another gain that we need to have. And the trucks, obviously, for those that were moving, because we see that when the ban came for cars not to move after 21 hours, it was really difficult. Public service vehicles, it was really difficult, especially for trucks, and it caused a lot of traffic around. But if they really have lifted the ban for trucks to be moving at night, it's a good thing. If you are a trucker, you've been a trucker before, you understand that working at night or moving at night is a good thing. Better than just moving.
There's less inconvenience.
Less inconvenience.
And
I think even just the trucks,
the traffic during the day.
Yeah, and I think it's appropriate. The weather is appropriate because it's not really sunny. When you are driving in a very sunny kind of weather, if it is a truck, it's very difficult. Probably because the tires get the heat and sometimes bursts and all that. A lot of accidents because you are inconveniencing others as well. But if you're moving at night, it's a good thing. For the police, I do believe that I don't know how they're going to work with the curfew, because they said, look, the curfew is still going on. But how are you going to work? Because for me, I think they need to sit down and figure out how they're going to do it, because you can't get me, because I'll just tell you, look, I'm coming from buying.
Even carry something.
In a plastic, just that. But I feel that I'm only hoping that we're not going to abuse it, because others will actually take advantage of people that will be moving, because obviously we haven't gotten used. So basically, even just the security conscious, the security way of doing things. In Zambia, we have to change our mindset in terms of the police.
Let me take you back to what you mentioned earlier on when you said this is something that is going to provide job opportunities. There are some people that today, as we speak, are fearing that the 24-hour economy is something that is going to rob them of the overtime. Because companies will be forced to employ other people to work on the night during night shifts.
Yeah, but no one works at night, do we?
So they are fond of doing those overtimes if they go beyond it, and then they're saying that we have to be paid. But now, with the 24-hour economy, it means them have to go. Somebody else has to come in.
Well, that's just being selfish. Why would you want to get everything yourself? You need to have others work. You need to have your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your nephews to also work instead of depending on you. And I think the revenue is also going to be increased, because we should be working every time and be productive every time. I've actually had one of the Chinese guys that I mingled with, and they were saying, look, in China, we don't sleep. It just depends on where you are. Probably we work every day. You don't have to. And
the same people who may be opposed to this, when we travel to those countries that have got 24-hour economy, we easily adapt and even appreciate it.
Yeah, and we see how things are moving. We've got so many billionaires in China. Just recently, I think I saw one of the numbers that were put on social media platforms looking at the billionaires in Africa. No Zambian was on that particular position.
All right, let me bring you to this
So basically,
point.
I think we need to just get used to it.
Okay, let me bring you to this point about the 24-hour economy. Do you really think that Zambia is ready to go down that road? You've talked about infrastructure, for instance. With most of the streets that we have are not actually well lighted up in the night, and that poses a risk to security. And now here's Ratsa saying that the night ban on night travel is still banned, and of course you talked about the curfew by the Zambia police. Now, how are we going to have this implemented if some sectors of the government itself are actually opposed to this? Are we really ready to go down that road?
Well, like I said, I think we needed to take a little bit of some time, and we needed to study it better. And I think mindset change was supposed to be the very key that we needed to start with, and then we get into it. But I think the credit that has come from government is that it's not compulsory.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a choice that you have to make as a business. If you want to go 24 hours,
and the primary focus is on markets, bus stations,
and supermarkets here, of course, that are really targeted, and of course the production houses where you have to produce, you have to do all these things. And in fact, they've been going on 24 hours. So I do believe that it's just the continuation of this, and not just getting to know that this has to happen. Because in most cases, we do have companies like Trade Kings. When they are doing production, they do at night. in most
because
cases.
Because if they don't do, we're not going to have what we need.
To have. And certain shops, I've actually mentioned some few shops that are working 24 hours, 24/7. Of course, like Young Fiddles have already started doing that. Though I only know about one shop, I don't know about other shops. But I think if
also Munali Mo, I think
Munali Mo is also 24/7, and I think it's a very, very important thing that it's not compulsory, so it's your choice. You have to choose as a business if you want to continue doing so. So you have to take it easy. But I feel for the security, I think for the police, I think it is very, very important that they need to change their mindsets and start working towards that, because so the guys that are always difficult when you want to get them or access them at night. It's really difficult for them. They'll ask you funny questions. It's not a joke, but I think I've had privileges of having these people ask funny questions when they talk about you wanting to access their services at night. So I think they need to change, and you can't have you can't talk about curfew when you know that it's 24/7. The market is the economy is 24-hour economy, so you really need to get used to it and see exactly how you're going to get in and implement certain things that you're supposed to do to protect the people out there.
I had an opportunity to have a talk with one of our colleagues right here within the course of the week, just after that announcement was made, and I indicated to say perhaps what my take would be that if the government can start with, for instance, the cities. We start with the cities. We've got 5 cities in the country: Lusaka, Livingstone, Ndola, Kito, and Chipata. Let's start with these as pilot project. We implement this 24-hour economy. We see how it's going to perform. Then we're going to learn so much, from this, and after that we can roll it out to the rest of the country. Or maybe if that is difficult, let's just restrict it to the CBDs.
Yeah, I think it is important. I think we needed to have a pilot project to just try and see how it's going to work. But one good thing is that it's not compulsory. So it's a good thing, and a lot of people will start adapting and will see the benefits and they'll get into it. Another thing that we need to work on is load shedding.
Oh yeah,
you have to have 24 hours supply of energy, and I'm uninterrupted, because I think the load shedding that we went through, it's like we were shattered. We were not working for a certain period of time. You can imagine how many businesses closed. You can imagine how many manufacturing companies closed because of the expenditures. The
and every closure meant a lot of people being laid off, a lot of employers.
A lot of people suffered. So we need to work on that, and knowing that I don't know if this stability is stable. in terms of power.
Somebody who teaches English is going to ask you, what are you trying to talk about? Stability.
If power is stable at this particular moment, because we're experiencing 24/7 of power supply. Yeah. So is it going to continue? For how long is it going to be?
Or is it like some opposition political party members have said that it's cosmetic or so?
But I feel it's difficult for us to understand it if it is really true that we're not going to experience load shedding again, because we are in an election year. So until that is done, maybe probably after after August 13th, that's when we're going to understand if this is cosmetic or not.
If we can continue like this until this time next year,
this time next year, if it is going to continue, then we might just say stability is stable, or this power supply is really stable. So we have to look at that as well, and it's also important, I think, for an economy to grow, you need energy.
Oh yeah. Very, very important. And talking about the transport sector, it is one that is critical, because when we start running a 24-hour economy, there will be need for somebody. Not everybody drives in Zambia. We know that situation. It's not something that we need to talk about. So there's need for public transport to be readily available to ferry people from one point to the other. But RATSA says the night ban is still on. Beyond 22 hours, public service vehicles are not supposed to move.
It's also another thing that we needed to sit down and discuss and talk about all these things, because it's important that every sector should join in. In fact, these are the major sectors. Transport is a major sector in terms of pushing this 24-hour economy. Transport is number one, is key. The police is key. We're talking about rats are coming in as well. And
Yeah.
just make sure that at least they find a way to enhance or to just help out in terms of how we're going to navigate this. It's new, it's alien to us, so we need to find a way to work together, and they need to sit down and find a way on how they're going to protect people and give protection, and as you are saying, give transport services to people that are supposed to be ferried from different places, from places to places. And I think even the protection, because we've seen that most of these guys who deal in Yango, for example, there are certain places where they don't go in Lusaka.
Exactly.
So you will be stranded.
Especially in the night.
Yeah, in the night. There are certain places that they don't go to. They will just tell you, my friend, where are you going? I'm going to this particular place, and I'll tell you, can you cancel? I can't go to that place this time around. So it has to be difficult. It's always difficult for you to have access to transport to take you home.
Yeah.
Others I've actually had some friends who have opted to stay at the bar. They don't even drink, but they just go to the bar.
Some of them even calculate 52 kwacha 50 ngwe police cells or 150 taxi. Which one?
Which one is better? So yeah, I think those are some of the things that we need to work on. We need to make sure that those are working probably for us to move forward.
All right, and now talking about this same approval that Cabinet did on Monday, the 17th, was it the 16th of March 2026, the police have said this, RATSA have said this, and some of the stakeholders, key stakeholders, have actually shown that they're a little bit, withheld when it comes to accepting that this has to happen. The bigger question that comes in is, did Cabinet not consult these key stakeholders before approving this, important issue?
Well, it shows that there was no consultation. They just sat and approved. I think many of the times when we've seen bills, acts, and a lot of things have been approved by cabinet or politicians without engaging people that are going to suffer the consequences. The people that you're supposed to really do it for, you're not consulting them, because they're supposed to be players in this particular, in everything that we're doing. So in this one, RATSA is key. We've talked about transport. Why is it key? It's always important that we have to really speak to them and consult them, get the facts and understand it better, instead of just looking at it because they copied from where they went, because they've been traveling. So obviously they went to somewhere else where they saw this and they were like, we have to implement this in Zambia, without looking at it from the Zambian perspective. We've copied things that we don't really understand better, because what we needed to do is, first of all, we needed to study, understand the economy that they're doing it in there before we bring it here. We have to understand our economy. We have to understand our cultures. We have to understand our behavior in our country, and then look at it in that perspective and find out how we're going to implement what we picked from here. It's not really bad to copy. It's a good thing to copy from other countries that have really prominently worked in terms of this kind of things that we're doing here. But it's important that we really need to figure out, we need to study, we need to understand better our country and how are we going to implement this, because it's not black, which is going to, you just take it from there and put it here and you expect it to work. Because we have different people, different cultures, different mindsets. Our mindset is different from our China mindset. Yeah, infrastructure is different from them. If you really look at our infrastructure, first of all, the road network is very poor, very bad. If you look at the energy that we've been talking about here, sometimes you even wonder, when power just cut for a second, you start thinking that load shedding is back, because this is the mentality that we had. At last, you do remember that at one point we became, it was like a normal thing. You were even expectant.
And having power is a miracle.
Yeah, having power is a miracle. Like it comes, everybody's shouting. Like we used to see it back in the days when we were growing up with the kids. You would shout, hey, power has come. But even adults who start running, running around, hey, power,
running,
which wasn't really supposed to. It's not normal. It's not normal, but it became normal to us, which is not supposed to be the case. So you needed, first of all, to do the feasibility study, get on the ground, find out how we're going to implement this before we started. So that's why I'm saying we had this because we copied, and it's a good thing. It's going to bring a lot of things, and I think the most important thing is a labor thing, because I think those that will be working at night, I talked about it in my preamble, and I said the people that will be working in the night, will be working more hours. But what implementations are going to be put in place? And you know that the labor department is a very corrupt department. The labor ministry is a very corrupt ministry.
You've caught out to them.
Yeah, I have, and and I've got facts that I can actually put on the table and talk about all these things. There's so many companies, so many people. You know that unless it comes on Facebook, that's when they are going to act. But if it's not there, have we ever seen any labor commission or labor ministry going in these places, in working places, to go and see how people are working?
And
we've
they're
seen
supposed to be doing
so many people from the mines working without proper gear, protective gears. They just go there and work. It's honors risks, and some of them have been working in some of the I think we saw what some of the reports that came out at one particular point where a bakery, one of the bakeries, some foreign guy, he was closing them. You have to close the doors,
them inside,
lock them inside. And what if fire, in case of fire, what happens to you? He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about them, eating. They don't have to eat. Whatever they're cooking, they don't have to eat, all those things. So these are some of the things that we have to look at. We have to strengthen our labor policies. All the policies are there, but implementation is very bad. We don't implement in our country. We've got so many policies, so many laws that we don't implement. So I think the labor needed to be looked at, because so many people will be working for peanuts, and they're still working for peanuts, and you will be working 24. In fact, if you get in, because obviously there's some people that will be knocking off at 18 hours, so you're getting at 18 and you are coming out at 9. It's a very long period of time in the night.
So labor laws need to be strengthened.
They need to be strengthened. Okay. They need to be strengthened and use some of those policies that we have in terms of labor. They're very corrupt.
There's one area that I think we shouldn't forget to talk about. Of course, when we talk about the 24-hour economy, the pickpockets are going to take advantage of that, because people are all over every now and then. But one thing for sure is that the same people that will be going to these different places to shop or going about their usual businesses are going to provide a kind or a measure of security when it comes to those people that the burglars, let me put it that way, those that go to break in. Like, I think break-ins are going to be prevented, because somebody will be thinking, by the time I finish doing this, somebody will see me.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, obviously there's so many things that needs to be done. Our country is dark. The street lights, there was one time I was even asking, I was moving, if you move in Kawata at Chirumburu Road, it used to light up, but at the moment there is no street lights. That is
I almost talked about your area member of parliament, but we're not talking about politics here. So in short, the 24-hour economy is workable, but perhaps we've just hurried a little bit to implement it.
It's very workable and a very good thing in terms of stabilizing our economy, in terms of people having money in their pockets, in terms of job creation, in terms of security, if we're really going to put everything together. But I think we needed to, we can't just come in and say, abruptly and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we do it. Okay. I think we need, first of all, to think. We need to study. We need to understand, get on the ground, because most of these politicians are moving about and they don't really know exactly how people, what is going on in the compounds, in the communities where we live. Imagine in Chibodia,
and they claim they don't sleep. They're always moving about to take note of your problems.
Imagine in Chibodia. In Chibodia, you have a shop that is 24/7. For how long are you going to be there?
People can just be coming to get stuff to get buying.
They'll just come and get. I know people from Chibodia. They'll tell me that we are peaceful people. It's people from Kablogo who are coming to steal from us.
Yeah, so the same people can still be going there to go and working to give me this and this, and then we call Chibodia. No, the people
I think we needed to strengthen some of those, like the police. We needed to strengthen it. We needed to energy sector. We needed to strengthen it as well. Transport sector. We needed to strengthen it.
Yeah.
And the labor. We needed to strengthen that, and of course we needed to find out from these businesses on how they're going to do it, and probably we have to work together. We are all players in these things. It's not about government, it's not about you as an individual, it's not about a business person, it's about every person in the community. It's about every Zambian to make this work. So if you are pushing or we are pulling from different directions, it can't work. But if you are pulling from the same direction, that's the only way to work. But it also calls for consultations, and you can actually see that when we were asking RATSA, for example, it's like they didn't have an idea on how they're going to do things. So they just said, look, we will continue doing whatever we do. And then government was saying, on the other hand, government was saying, but for traffickers or trucks, they will be moving at night. But for RATSA, it was a different case altogether. I'm sure they didn't even read, they didn't even understand what was talked about. And then we talk about the police. No, curfew will still continue. But how are you going? Who are you going to arrest? Because I will be buying, I will be, moving, and I will be working at night. Because the people that are arrested at night,
those that are idling, just loitering, aimlessly.
But obviously, if I don't know if we'll be called, I don't know how we're going to figure out who is loitering, or is selling, or is buying.
Maybe when they find you idling, you're not doing anything, because obviously you can't sit somewhere in the corner in the night and saying, I'm waiting for somebody, as if it's during the day.
I'm waiting for I'm hustling as well outside.
All right, so there you have it. Talking about the 24-hour economy is our topic of consideration today on Wake Up Zambia. And of course, we are calling an opportunity, our dear viewers, wherever you could be watching us from, to just give us a call and let us know what your take is. Do you think that this is workable in your area? And what measures do you think the government should put in place this particular, 24-hour economy? All right, so your calls are welcome at the moment. I think there should be a number on your screen. That's on the bottom right corner. Is it here? Bottom right corner of your screen. Then you can dial that number. We get talking right here, so we get to hear what your views or your take is on the topic that we're considering today. And JC, the other thing that the government did talk about was to do with roadblocks. Unnecessary roadblocks. I think it's something that was discussed, and say that they are going to be removed. Only checkpoints, necessary ones, are the ones that are going to remain. Does that pose, a security concern again?
Well, I think many of the times that we've seen the Minister of Transport talk about that, and so many times that they've prohibited these roadblocks, or is it traffic stops or whatever they call them, but they've continued, and it's a mess for one particular person to be stopped so many times in the same road, obviously you look at 1 kilometer, the next kilometer somebody is stopping you, or 10 meters somebody is stopping you in the same road, in the same route. I remember at one point, was it 2 weeks ago, we were moving from here to town, using this Kabango road, and of course we were using the bus. We were stopped 3 times before we reached from 6 miles roundabout. We were stopped 3 times before we reached Novelomo, and you can imagine this period, 3 times in that, and then from Novelomo to somewhere Mandevu, we were stopped twice. And then they were checking the same things.
Okay.
And then even just in town, from just in Freedom Way, as we are getting to, we're getting towards the bus station, the very first bus, Millennium, in between Millennium and just where there's where we turn at the roundabout. From there, ZRA, somewhere ZRA. From ZRA to we were stopped about 5 times. So you can imagine how a nuisance these traffic stops are, and the pronouncements are always there, but do we implement? And this is what we've always been talking about here. We've been saying that we do have some of the pronouncements from politicians or from ministers that have really said so many things, but the act is different. So what are they doing about it? Nothing. And that just brings about a lot of traffic. But I'm only hoping that whatever they said this time around is going to work. Yeah,
especially that I think we also need to encourage the issue of police patrols on our roads. The patrols should continue. I think they help a lot rather than putting unnecessary roadblocks.
Yeah, police patrol also moves from different places. There are certain places where there is no police patrols, and this
They have to
has
maximize
be
this time
implemented.
around.
Maximize the police patrols and put them in compounds as well, because that's the most affected places, and the police are not there anymore. Because I think that's the most important thing. And they'll tell you manpower. they'll always talk about manpower.
Yeah.
And you find that at the police station there's only one person. Everyone else has gone because they've gone to some of the places where they feel there's a cachola, so they have to chase that bag. So that is a very difficult thing that happens in our country.
All right, this is Wake Up Zambia, and you can give us a call on the number that is at the bottom of your screen. That's 0979 927044. 0979 927044. That's the number that we're using. 0979 927044. Give us a call on that same number, then we get talking right here, so we get to hear what your take is on the topic that we are considering today. That is the 24-hour economy. Is it workable for Zambia? How do you think it should be implemented in your area? What is your take? Just give us your honest, feeling about this whole thing. 0979 927044. I repeat it, 0979 92 70 44. So take note that after the 7 there are 2 9s there. That's 09799 27044. So give us a call and let us know what your take is. And the other issue, JC, that we shouldn't forget to talk about is about how these bus stations are going to be operating, especially when you talk about we already talked about transport, but the other thing is that sometimes we find that these bus stations ought to ensure that, let's see if we can talk to somebody before maybe you come in. Good morning, you're through to Wake Up Zambia.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Wanted to ask a question.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Catherine. I'm calling you from Livingston.
From Livingston, okay, please.
And I'm calling you from Livingston.
Go ahead with the question, madam.
So my question falls under the transport system.
Switch off the TV. I think it is on.
Kindly turn off the TV or just the volume on your TV set.
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead now and ask your question.
So my question is that, one thing that I've noticed about the transport system is that each time there are what is.
Yes, please go ahead. Hello, Veronica, can you hear us? We seem to have lost Veronica there. Please come on back if you can, so that we can get to hear your point or the question that you have over the traffic watch system. Good morning, you're through to Wake Up Zambia. Okay, we lost that one. The number still remains the same, 0979 927044. You can give us a call and let us know what your take is on the 24-hour economy that government has approved, or cabinet has approved that it should be implemented and of course introduced in the country, and says that this is going to create more job opportunities. And of course that's a fact, because it will. But other people, other sectors have raised their concerns, and some of the things are what we have discussed here on this platform. And now we give you an opportunity to call us and let us know what your take is. 0979 927044 is the number that you are using. 0979 927044. Let us know what your take is. Veronica wanted to say something about the traffic watch system. I think we are waiting to hear her coming back and just complete her question.
Yeah, and another thing that we have to also look at.
I'll have to hold
Okay.
your... Okay, good morning. I'm through to Wake Up Zambia.
Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Very good. I want to participate on the program.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Muntu Mususu. I'm calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Muntu Mususu. Please go ahead, sir. What's your contribution this morning?
My contribution is that I don't think that this economy is ripe enough to effect a 24 hours economy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand that this country is riddled with criminals, junkies, and everywhere who are seizing every opportunity to beat and even kill people. So I think that these are issues that we need to be able to implement systematically, I think even gradually.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it also must be stated that this process has not been introduced by UPND. President Galungu introduced it for our economy, if you remember very well.
Mm-hmm.
Cabinet of President Galungu introduced this. So what is there is that people, what is the purchasing power do people have to be loitering the whole usiku wose instead ya kugona? Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
Balapeza kuti time wantu kuti vazi kungozinguluka chape. What time are they going to sleep?
Uh-huh.
So what we are saying, and you see, what is the cost analysis to the economy itself? Companies actually have gone to South Africa, some have gone to Zimbabwe. So what capacity do you have for people to employ more people? And lastly, a question is that, is our government offices also going to remain 24 hours?
Okay.
Government offices, are they going to remain 24 hours? So that's a question, please, that I want sufficiently answered.
Mr. Mususu.
You asking?
No. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming through. Zikomo. 0979-927044 0979-927044 is the number that you are using, and of course there is a number on the screen at the bottom right screen, at the bottom of your screen. You can call us on that same number. Good morning. Hello, how are you?
Thanks, and how?
Very well, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Catherine and I'm calling you from Livingston.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution.
So my question is a contribution in the transport system.
Mm-hmm.
So my contribution is that I've noticed that a lot of private cars are pirating, and the MP earlier said that police should be on patrol, but here in Livingston the police are not on patrol. So I wanted him to give us advice or help on how they can also help to stop these problems of pirating.
Okay, and that is in the night?
Yes, that is in the night.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, 0979-927044 is the number that you can use in case you'd like to come on through and just add your voice to the topic that we have under discussion right here on Prime TV. And of course, we have another number that is on the screen. I'm sure you're able to see it on the bottom corner of your screen. You can dial that number, and we get talking right here on Prime TV's Wake Up Zambia. We just pick maybe 2 more calls, then we see if we can react to those. Then we go on to something else right here on the program. This is Wake Up Zambia, and the number is 0979-927044. 0979-927044 is the number that we are using. Give us a call and let us know what your take is on the 24-hour economy. Is Zambia ready to go down that road? What is your take? Jesse, earlier on you wanted to say something before I cut you short.
Muntu Mususu talked about the purchasing power, and I think I will mention to just agree with him, and of course just talk about more in terms of how it's going to be difficult, especially when it comes to spending or operation costs for small and medium enterprises if they're going to manage, because when you are working at night, he talked about junkies as well, and you know that they're going to be sophisticated because they have to really, ask whatever they have to eat.
It's hassle for them.
So they will find a way to make sure that they attack a lot of people. And probably when you are working at night, there is a lot of lighting that you need to do. a lot of lights that you have to put up. So how are we going to manage to do that? And then there's also transportation for those that will be working at night, because they can't be moving in public transport. You have to buy a bus, you have to get them from different places, and that is a cost, wages to pay those that will be working at night, because you have a larger wage bill. So you have a lot of people that will be on the payroll. How much are you going to pay them? How much money are you making? Because obviously not a lot of people are really willing to come, and because I think we are not used to this. So at the beginning of it, it's going to be really difficult for people to even just go by at night. I've actually seen this happen, where there's 24/7, 365 of some of these shops that have been operating at night. I think there's time when people stop going to buy, except these that like in Kabwata. For example, we're looking at young Pharaohs, the people that buy.
Let's see if we can talk to somebody just before you finish responding to Mr. Muntu Mususu. Good morning. Hello? Hello, good morning. Good morning, you're through to Prime TV's Wake Up Zambia. Okay, somebody doesn't want to talk to us. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Morning, you're through to Prime TV's Wake Up Zambia. Mkwai mwabomba sana.
Wino, mkwai mwala chimisha kwa volume pa TV.
Mkwai.
Ni wanani wale tumina kwisa?
Abani bachireshe baletumina kulwanyisha kusenge.
Twamisengera bachireshe mleti poshani mkwai.
Kuba iyi programu iyi baletere bakateke iyi. Past time oine twarando kwe bati irisho bwino buli abantu abambo okubomba akasuba. Ngabana ka balafo okwingisha bambu bandi futi kimo kwati nishi amashito kukiafuro kwingishako abantu nabandi.
Okay.
Nomba ubwacha budipo bakwebo kwe bati umuntu teteka lesale bitano bushiku ngana baba chikuru atale nuastebyo danaiti awo security naye na ifide yabapo. Abantu abama janki already bali baba safu kakale already before ne tabalabika ko bakateka. Tikene chipasta chimoyine chirefu ekapaba security yamaka. Otherwise mandini umutende nistapale na bakabwana na nishiro bala bana oba sana. Pero transport pakwenda ushiku. Na pena futi fide yaba pokuba nabale komboka. So hii program mandini anyway batine parwandi nde munokwa style wino.
Okay.
Mkwai.
Twatotera sana bachireshe.
All
right. So Mr. Chileshe JC is agreeing with what Msusu was talking about on the issue of security, and also we shouldn't forget Mr. Msusu talked about government, offices. Are they going to be operating 24/7 as well? Then as you respond to those, you can as well couple that with our lady from Livingstone is asking about what the police is going to do just to ensure that they also patrol, Livingstone, a certain area, is it Malone or so? They have to patrol just to ensure that the security, because violators are always there throughout the night.
Well, I think this is one thing that I was really talking about: cost effective and operational costs for the businesses that will be running. And I don't really think it will be sufficient for small and medium enterprises, because they have to really look at a lot of things. Number one, security should be tight. They have to make sure that the people that are going to buy, the workers in the shop, is secured, or the place of work that is working 24/7 is secured. And it takes a lot of money that you have to spend. The lighting is supposed to be efficient, so that people will see properly and they will do better. And wages also is another thing that is going to be costly, because you have to the more people that you employ, the more money that you have to spend in terms of
and for employees as well, the money that they're getting may not be enough for them to go and spend in the night.
So and then the economy, the economy is not really there where a lot of people do have a lot of money, for them to spend. I can imagine that how many times that you've had 100 kwacha this week. It's really
just
difficult for you to
wait for the
night.
Just
to spare, wait for the night so that you can go and buy. So I think we needed to wait a little bit, because I think
but then at the end of the day, it's all about maybe you didn't get time during the day, then you have to go and buy. You have to go and do the shopping in the night.
I'll tell you that I was expecting to see, this is an example of what I've actually seen, and I'm talking about one thing that I've always seen. The people that frequent that place after 22 hours are those that are drinking. Probably they just want to go and buy drinks. They just want to go and buy
soda,
you know, and water maybe, because it's cheaper there. So maybe they just want to go buy some few snacks as they are drinking. Not necessarily people are coming from homes and go just specifically. You go, no, I'm going to buy from Young Feeders at night at 02. No, I don't really think so, because I think if you go there and ask them, there's nobody that is going to say no because I wasn't working in the morning, or I was busy in the afternoon, so this is the time that I'm going to do shopping. We are not used to that yet.
They'll be resting.
So they'll be resting, and probably they'll just be there. So I think this is one of those things that we needed, first of all, to improve our economy before we shifted into this. We needed to make sure that the businesses are back where it's supposed to be. Remember that we're coming from.
Quickly, your take on
we are coming from a time where.
Just quickly before we wind up, I know you're still coming here on the Livingston lady who has
on the Livingston lady. I think when it comes to pirating, it's not just in Livingston; it's all over. I think this has been done, and I feel for me, it's in Lusaka. It's there. It's really happening. So I think the only thing that she actually talked about is patrolling, and these are some of the things that we've been talking about. You've mentioned before, or here on this program, you said that police patrols should be frequent at this particular moment.
Should be enhanced.
So we should be doing that on a more regular basis, and that is just one of those things that should be happening, but it doesn't happen. So those are some of the things that we needed to put in place, figure out how it's going to work, and the system should be put in place. And I think
so. You're agreeing that police patrol should be enhanced?
Yeah.
Agency, I think I need to let you do a layback for a moment, so that you come on later with a whole lot of things to do at the moment. Let's see if we can just have a chat with one of our guests in the studios.
Thank you very
much. All right, this is Wake Up Zambia. Do stay with us after this short break. When we come back, we'll have a talk with one of the legends, talking about one who's been around in the music industry. He's going to be talking to us right here on Wake Up Zambia. Do stay with us. Don't go.
If it's not on Prime TV 2, verify it. Our dedicated reporters across the country bring you accurate, well-researched news, keeping you informed 24/7. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook at Prime TV 2 Zambia. Prime TV 2, the home of breaking news.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV 2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazungola Bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar Channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
It's projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news. Start your day with Sunrise Breakfast Show. The flagship morning show on Prime TV2. Wake up to breakfast news as it happens.
What if you're not away?
In-depth discussions on the day's top stories, live reporter check-ins from across the country, expert analysis on government policies and their impact, the latest in local and international sports. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook at PTV2 Zambia.
Sunrise Breakfast!
Sunrise Breakfast Show, only on Prime TV2.
60 years this year after independence, abantu twaneleke managita kwamba wapepeko bunga, divided we fall, united we stand. What brings us together is much more than what divides us. We are asking you to be strong during this time, when we are importing maize from Tanzania, when we are queuing up for milling costing 230. Be strong. Because a leadership that cares and that knows your challenges is on the way.
Catch the Citizens First program every Wednesdays at 21 hours. This is a paid-for program.
Oh, thank you so much for still staying with us. This is Wake Up Zambia on Prime TV, and this time around we shift our attention from the 24-hour economy into something else. But interesting enough, my guest is talking about this 24-hour economy, so maybe I may just get a hint of what he thinks about it, so that we just get to, I hope I'm not pressing him into the corner. But hey, let me introduce my guest this morning, or our guest, let me call him that way, because he's somebody that has been around for very, very long time. But tomutambula
no, it's good to be here, and thank you very much to Prime TV for hosting me.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right, so this is the legendary musician Chris Aka talking to us right here on Wake Up Zambia. And before we get to talking about his music journey, let's just get to hear a little bit more of his thoughts on the 24-hour economy. Mr. Aka, 24-hour economy, what's your take? You're just telling me something about what you found out somewhere. Is it in West Africa when you traveled there?
Yes, you know the problem that we have as Zambians. We want to do things like kusidiziratu. Yeah. My take is that maybe if we could go up to 24 hours for a start. I think that way, even as we get to 24 hours itself, up to throughout, yeah.
Yes, it's something that we've tested.
Yes. I found it when I went to Senegal.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they close shops around 24 hours.
Okay.
Yes, it's quite normal for them.
Oh yeah.
And people are very busy. You can go into a butchery, 23 hours. You go and buy meat.
Oh yeah.
You can go into a supermarket, 23 hours, 24 hours. And life is normal.
Okay.
And people are busy. And with ourselves, now that our population is also growing, so I think that would be a very good idea, so that we are able to share the cake in terms of employment. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Aka, let's get to your music journey now. You've been around for far too long, and somebody who might have heard you some time back and then seeing you today will be celebrating to say, oh, the man has actually stood the test of time. He's still there down to this. So before we even talk about all this, just how important is music to you?
Music is me.
Yeah,
music is my life, and it has really built me into a very a cautious person. Yes, and it has really done wonders in my life.
Oh yeah.
And it has taken me to places. Yes, places that I never even thought I'd go there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and you can imagine, just in Africa, I've been to almost 15 countries to perform. And of course, I've been privileged to also perform in USA.
Oh yeah.
That is Kansas City. Yeah, I was invited to perform at the Ethnic Enrichment Festival.
Okay.
This is an annual event that takes place in Kansas City. Yeah, so
that's in the summers?
Yes, in the summers, every August.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, and I've met people. Yes, I remember I used to enjoy watching Sarafina when I was even a bit young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I was privileged to have met that lady in Nairobi. We met. Yeah, so it's something that is so nice. Yeah, for me. Yeah, I've actually sat on the Mount Kilimanjaro. Yes, where
the tallest mountain in Africa.
The tallest mountain in Africa. I just used to learn about it, like in school, but I was privileged to even touch it.
Wow.
So that is through music itself.
Okay.
I remember we actually traveled by road from Lusaka to Nairobi. Yes, it was they called it a caravan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there were people that came from South Africa. They connected with the people in Zimbabwe and Botswana. Also connected with people in us in Zambia. We also connected with the people in Tanzania, and finally got into Nairobi.
Okay.
Yes, I used to belong to a group called Get Up, Stand Up Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a group which had artists from all over Africa. Those that were activists. Yes, so, and I was privileged to be part of that group. And when we were in Nairobi, actually, we performed with a number of artists that included Oliver Mtukudzi.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver Mtukudzi, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Eric Wanaina, Didi Awadi from Senegal. Yes, and from Zambia it was me and Shamanyazi.
And you were part of this group, Stand Up, Get Up, Stand Up Africa.
Yes.
And you were action activists. What is it exactly that you are advocating for?
Well, my focus mainly is on issues to do with GBV.
Oh, yeah.
And also currently I'm looking at the issue of malaria. I'm championing malaria.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in Zambia. Yeah, so I've always looked at issues that affect us as a society, as a community. Yeah, because I feel my music is meant for that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a messenger. Therefore, I need to take the message to the people so that we can have change in society.
Okay.
Yes.
You've been around in the music circles for quite a very, very long time. There are musicians that came after you, and they are gone. They've stopped, producing. They've stopped singing as we speak. What is it that has kept you this long in music industry?
Well, one thing that needs to be in a person, whether it's not only in music, in anything that one does, there need to be consistent, persevering, so that way you'll be able to be relevant throughout. Yes, just as you've said, we've had people that came in and they've gone, they've left us. Yes, but I've been around since 1993 when I started music as a profession. Yes, so, and I know what I want. And this is why from the beginning I said music is me. Yeah, and you can imagine I've kept, for example, my hair from 1994
to date.
So meaning that I've been consistent with what I do. Yeah, people have come and they said, oh no, I want to cut my hair. Again next year they start growing new dreads. So yeah, you just need to be someone who's committed to what you do. Yes, and so far I've done 7 albums. To my credit, to my name, and all these albums that I've done are issue based. And I'm not complaining, and because every album that I do gives me a project.
You are both a recording and performing artist, and you've done 7 albums. You started professional music in 1994, like you've said.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you have faced in this period, and how have you overcome those challenges down to this day?
Well, if we look at our industry in Zambia, people, I've heard people say, no, Zambian music industry is going places, it has grown. What? We are still struggling. It's a small industry. And this is why we have to work very hard.
Not cutting you short, when you say we are still struggling, are you speaking for the other musicians? Because in your case, you've performed across the globe. I don't think that is struggling. This is what I want to explain. As an industry in Zambia, we are struggling. Okay.
Yes, we are struggling. We work too much as artists, and if you look at our friends outside where the industry is stable, it's very different. Yeah, even for me to just get a sponsor here in Zambia, to sponsor my trips, to sponsor my event, it's something that is a hassle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is why I'm saying I only wish that things could change, because one, we have massive talent in Zambia. We have, I think, enough studios to where people, where artists can create their new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it needs the environment to be very suitable for the industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, if you look at Malawi, Malawi was behind, and now they are in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, their industry is growing. Look at Zimbabwe, despite them going through political issues and so on, their music industry is on top.
Oh, yeah.
Very stable. Yeah, so our industry at the moment, I'm sorry to say this, is turned upside down.
Why do you think we have that situation? Is it lack of collaboration between the musicians themselves, or maybe there's something much deeper than we say?
This one does not only involve the artists. Us as artists, if you've noticed, there is even a bit of unity amongst ourselves. We collaborate, we work together, be it the young and the old. We are working together. But just the stakeholders have messed us up. I'll give an example.
Yes.
If I asked you a question today, that who is a big musician in Zambia, what answer are you going to give me? Just that question. So those are indicators that there is a problem in the industry.
Okay.
Because in the music industry, we also have protocol.
Oh, yeah.
There's no protocol in Zambia.
Okay.
When I go to Malawi or Zimbabwe, the first thing that they will say there, they'll be talking about, maybe before they can talk about maybe Winkedy, or maybe Amara Brown, they will talk about Thomas Mafumo.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I call protocol. In Zambia, it's not there. When I go to Malawi, they will talk about maybe Paul Banda, the late Lucius Banda. That's when they'll start talking about Skefa Chimoto.
Yeah.
So for us here, we think that maybe music started in 2010.
And you had started way back.
Yes. See, because if you ask me who inspired me as a musician, I'll be able to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I was inspired by the late Keith Mlevu.
Okay.
The man who did Ubuntungwa, which the song which is being sung even up to today.
It's still a hit down to this day.
I was inspired by musicians like Ricky Lilonga. And if you ask the ladies, they'll go in the salon and say, "Oh, nifuna munimangeko to Ricky." They don't even know where that name came from.
Okay.
It came from Ricky Lilonga. He was one of the first artists in Zambia to have dreadlocks.
When we talk about music in Zambia and maybe not getting to heights where we expected to get or where we wanted to be, some artists have complained about, for instance, the companies, the stakeholders, and the corporate, entities that come on board to help musicians. They say that if you, Mr. Aka, today you're performing, let me just give an example, not that that's what happens, but if you're performing today, Zamtel will come on board and offer you maybe a 40,000 kwacha. Then when an international artist is coming today, Zamtel will come on board and offer 500,000 kwacha. So they've been complaining about the disparity. Have you found it to be also a challenge contributing to Zambian music to where it is today?
And this is why I said we've been messed up. We've been messed up by the stakeholders. Yeah? And the stakeholders, meaning there's the media involved, there's sponsors involved, promoters involved, So we don't value this industry the way it's supposed to be valued.
Yeah.
When I go to perform to Malawi, in Malawi I mean, I agree with them before I even travel. I agree, we do a contract, we even do a contract online.
Oh yeah.
Immediately I finish performing. If it's going to be 24 hours, my package will be ready.
Okay.
24 hours, I don't have to wait. So that is what it means to be organized.
Oh yeah.
Here when you perform, even the same 40,000, for you to get it, you'll be chasing people. Here in Zambia. So meaning that we still have got a lot of work to do as an industry.
Oh yeah.
So even these issues that they are bringing in, for example, the copyright bill.
Oh yeah.
It's too early for us to have such things. We are not yet settled. We are not ready as an industry. No, I'll give an example.
Yes.
When you are building a house, you start with a foundation.
Oh yeah.
Then there's what they call it box.
Box, yeah.
Yes. Then you start putting up whatever. So you want to put a picture frame before you even start building in the house.
When you don't have anywhere to hang it.
Where are you going to hang it? So it goes until the house is finished. That's when you start putting all those decorations now. The picture frame, the paintings, put them, yeah. But before you even finish building a house, you want to be putting the paintings, those beautiful paintings. Does not make sense.
So the corporate bill has come rather too early.
We had the hologram, which was another flop. So it has to, see, the problem is, can they involve the people that understand these industries?
Oh yeah.
Because this corporate thing involves the painters, actors, filmmakers, musicians, a whole lot of us, all these different art forms. So all these need to be involved.
Oh yeah.
Tikonda to theory maningi ukaverenga kuti somewhere pacha.
Nice.
But no, let's do it.
Right, so from moving on from here, going forward, what do you think should be done just in order for us to be an organized industry in Zambia?
We just need to get back to the drawing board and get to understand, what do we start with?
Yeah.
Me, I just pray, and I'm pleading with the system to really get involved and consult us.
Oh yeah.
Because I understand what it means to have a show, I mean a flopper.
Oh yeah.
And how do I get out of that mess?
After putting in so much.
Yes, I understand, because I've gone through that. The 33 years that I've been in this industry, I know.
Yeah.
We used to walk. You do a show, the person who has engaged you has run away. You walk. That is what we've gone through in this industry. But they don't understand. They've never even gone through that. They just want to bring things on paper. What this is what. No, this is Zambia. It's not America.
Oh yeah.
This is Zambia. It's not England, where things are advanced.
Yeah.
So let us do it in a Zambian style.
For the benefit.
For the benefit of the artists in Zambia. That's what we need to do.
Okay, so a little bit away from that, this is 2026. What do we expect to receive from you?
Well, of course, I would want to see peace prevail. Zambia has always been a haven of peace. It should prevail before, during elections, and after elections.
Oh, yeah. Any performances that you are going to have maybe lined up already for 2026?
Yes, I have some shows. This month, I have a show.
Within Lusaka?
Yes, I have an event coming on malaria. And next month, I've been nominated for awards in Central Province.
Oh yeah.
And they've nominated 2 songs. One on GBV and one on climate change.
Oh, okay.
So the 2 songs have been nominated, and the awards are on the 25th of April.
We'll be on hand to cover that.
Yes, and after that, I may be traveling again.
Okay, out of the country.
Out of the country.
There are many young people that are looking up to you, you know, as somebody who has who's got this longevity in music, and perhaps someday they would like to also look back and say, I've been, like you're talking about 33 years today, they might as well want to talk about maybe 30 years plus or so in music. What would your advice be to them?
Well, one, I would like to encourage the young and upcoming musicians that one, they should be very mindful on what they create, the content of their products.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we don't get stuck at one age. It's the same age.
Oh,
we
yes.
grow up, and then we start families, and we may have a lot of questions from our children. That why did you insult in this song? So, and children will think that insulting is the best because you, the father, has been insulting music. So they have to be very careful.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why. Most of artists have children who are very intelligent, and they really ask a lot of questions.
Oh yeah.
So please, I really want to encourage them to have messages that will stick around for a long time. Messages that will stick around even when they go. Messages will still be in the air. Okay. I'll give an example. Bob Marley. Up to now, even politicians use these lines to actually make their campaigns.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Lucky Dube, same. Yeah, so I think that's the only thing that they need to do if they are going to stick around for a long time. Okay. Yes, as much as they would also do a bit of bubblegum music here and there, because of course that moves with generations.
Exactly.
Yes, and if they can do that, also combine it with something that is very serious messages, then they'll be able to survive.
Okay. Sir, I would like to thank you so much for just finding time to talk to us on Wake Up Zambia this morning. We should be hoping that someday we can have a whole hour, you know, just talking about this journey that you have walked for 33 years, and you still keep inspiring many people out there.
Thank you very much. And, well, of course, my last message is that, you know, malaria has been one of the diseases that has killed a lot of people in Africa.
Oh yeah. And
it is so silent, and every day that passes we have 4 to 5 deaths that take place out of malaria. So I want to say that it's something that we can also prevent.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and let's make sure we sleep under treated mosquito nets, and let's make sure we clean our surroundings. Let's make sure we get tested. Let's not actually treat ourselves. We go to the clinic and get tested, and so that they can give us the proper medication. I think in short, I'm saying Chris Aka says no to malaria.
Thank you so much, sir. The legendary himself, Chris Aka, talking about the fight against malaria and the fight against GBV champion, talking to us on Wake Up Zambia this morning on Prime TV, and it has been a pleasure, of course, talking to him and hearing a bit about his music journey. We should be able to find time and just bring him on board and have a talk for a whole lot of an hour, so we just get to exploit each and every single thing that he has to share with us. All right, this is still Wake Up Zambia, and on the other side, JC takes over as he talks to a gospel artist right here in the house, and of course later on he's going to give you a sports update. I'm Tommy Samuel Tembo. Until next week, the time that you're going to see me here. It's good morning and have a lovely weekend.
60 years this year after independence. Abantu twaneleke fumanechita. Kwamba wapepeko bunga. Divided we fall, united we stand. What brings us together is much more than what divides us. We are asking you to be strong during this time. When we are importing maize from Tanzania, when we are queuing up for millennium costing 230. Be strong, because a leadership that cares and that knows the challenges is on the way.
Catch the Citizens First program every Wednesdays at 21 hours. This is a paid-for program.
Grace is freely given love, forgiveness, acceptance, and help of God. Grace equips us, gives us spiritual gifts, and strengthens a believer's heart to do God's work and helps to build up the church. Join us every Sunday as we empower believers and help families grow mature in their faith and live it out daily. Hour of Grace, Sundays at 11 hours, only on Prime TV. Rhythm Reignited.
Tune in to Prime Television every Sunday at 17:30 hours and Monday at 14:35 hours and watch Kakanda Ministries program and receive your deliverance and healing as the man of God Prophet Samuel Kakanda ministers and changes people's lives through deliverance and instant healing. And for traveling arrangements to Uganda, you can call 0976 65 2877 or 0963 54 5502. Prophet Samuel Kakande is determined to take the gospel of Jesus Christ to the four corners of the world.
Na papenge yawe mwingekelela na papata muntuleko ime yawe ukutemwa kwa kwalesa okwa wile njende andowe
Good morning. We are still on Wake Up Zambia, and this time around we turn our attention to another creative artist that is here in the studio by the name of Deborah. Welcome to Wake Up Zambia.
Thank you so much.
How is the morning?
It's good. I love the weather. And it's always a pleasure coming back here. So.
Okay, so what's so lovely about the weather?
It's a bit chilled. It's not too cold and not too hot. I just like the balance.
The balance.
Yes.
All right, just tell us who is Deborah?
Mwamba, mama interview. No, please tell us a bit about yourself.
So for the sake of people that are watching you for the first time, I think they need to know who this Deborah is. You know, there's
Absolutely.
so many Deborahs. Yeah.
My name is actually Deborah Overcomer, and I am a gospel artist, songwriter, as well as a vocal coach. I am based here in Osaka, and I have done multiple singles. If I'm counting correctly, it should be about 6 singles, yes. Yeah. And I'm looking to do more. I'm looking to do more in terms of ministry, in terms of music, not just singles, because PMC will one day tell me, no, we've told you to bring us an album. You're coming here with a single again.
Okay.
So I'm looking to do more and more, and hopefully to go far. with ministry, and just to be able to preach the gospel through music. Yeah.
All right. I'm tempted to ask. You were talking about preach, ministry, and all that. So can you elaborate on that?
For me, music isn't just putting out good music out there. And I think if you've had a listen to the songs that I have put out there, you'll be able, if you're wedded, you'll be able to pick out the scriptures from there. You'll be able to say, oh, okay, there's a portion in the Bible that is written A, B, and C, and C. For me, ministry means literally taking the gospel out there, but through music. I don't have to be a pastor to preach. I can preach through my gift, through music. And it's very important for me. I take it as as an assignment and not just fun. So when I release music, it's not just for vibes or chawama, chalila, chinyimbo, or no, the beat, the producer was good, the video is good. I'm looking at who is it going to impact? Where's the impact, Lord? Who is it going to touch, Lord? Who's this music going out for? What's the mission of this song that you've given me, this new sound that you've given me? And I know that I'm yet to grow in that area also. So
at what point did you find that, or did you know that you're really going to get into music and preach to people?
Well, I've known since I was a child. I've known since I was 7, 5. I've always
You were singing
known.
at the young age?
I was singing at a young age.
Where
I grew
were you
up in the
singing
church.
from? Oh, in the church.
Grace Ministries High Praise Center. I used to sing in the Sunday school. Then I went to the youth choir, and then I joined the main praise team when I was, I think, 15 years old. So I've always known that the Lord has given me a mission. This is my assignment from the time I was a young girl, and I've always pursued it to now.
There's so many people that still talk about what they used to be back in the days when they were growing up. You know, like they were in the church, they grew up in the church. They had so many people that they looked up to, but today they're not really talking about that. So what inspired you for you to continue in the same space where you have been growing, and just making sure that you're still today preaching to people out there?
You know, the calling of the Lord sometimes is mysterious.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you that I've always known when I was a young girl. But your question would be, how did you know when you were a young girl that the Lord has given you a mission? Like, the calling of the Lord is so mysterious. I had understanding. I can't even explain it to you. Where I would sleep, I had a vision. I just had understanding that my calling is to constantly be in the presence of the Lord and to take the gospel out there through music. I've always known that factor. And I've never had a point in my life where I had peer pressure, let me start, let me go into the world and stuff like that. I've just always known, and I've always been grounded in this assignment.
Who has mentored you going through all these things? Because obviously it's really difficult for you alone with the pressure that is coming through. With growing up comes with a lot of difficulties, a lot of things that you have to navigate. So who has been modeling you to be who you are?
First of all, and most importantly, I grew up in a Bible-believing and Christian home. My father, I had the honor to be raised by 2 fathers. So my father, who raised me, was a pastor himself. So every single day at 5 hours, make sure he finds you downstairs with a notebook and your Bible. You're ready to pray. So that in itself was mentorship. That in itself was grooming. Even though he did not know that this little young girl is planning on becoming a minister of the gospel at the time, but that in itself was grooming and mentorship, teaching you the ways of the Lord as you're a young girl, so that even as you grow up, you not depart from that way. And I think I've always been inspired by people who've gone ahead and done ministry. Sinach, Judy K, Messi Chino. In Zambia, we have Christine, we have Pastor Medorine, we have Chile Shawalia. I've had the privilege of sitting down with those people and ask the questions that I need to ask and learn the lessons that I need to learn. They've gone ahead of me so that I can see the mistakes that they did, so that even me, as I'm going to where they are, I must avoid those things.
So you've opened your eyes.
I've opened my eyes.
And what happens, because I think in most cases we've got pastors' children, they're mischievous in most cases. Most of those are really, but
you are talking a different. You've taken a different direction, and because you open your eyes. What do you think goes on, especially when it comes to pastors' children? Do you think they don't give them enough time for the mentorship that you've been given, or do you think because there was somebody that was mentoring you physically and just telling you exactly the path that you're supposed to go, instead of just leaving you to navigate your way through yourself?
The truth is, if I'm a pastor, if I choose to be in ministry and I have children, God called me, God did not call my children.
Yeah.
I think we put too much pressure on these individuals, you know what I mean? Like the ministry and the calling is on their parent, not on them. So sometimes they feel so much pressured to be perfect in the eyes of the people around the calling of their parents. They need to talk a certain way, they need to behave a certain way, they need to walk a certain way, they need to do things
a certain way.
Dress a certain way.
Yeah.
And we forget that even as they are growing up, yes, they are growing up in the church, but as they are growing up, they're becoming their own individuals. You know what I mean? They're becoming their own individuals, they're learning things on their own, they're becoming their own personalities. So I can't speak to people that are their own individuals. The truth is, the calling is not upon their lives. The calling is on their parents' lives. So for me, really, like I told you, the calling of the Lord is sometimes mysterious. I just had understanding. Even before my father started grooming me and mentoring me, I just had understanding that my life is tied to the calling of the Lord, and there's nothing else I can do apart from that.
So when did you get now seriously get into music? And because you're talking about six singles that you've had, so I think you're coming from a very long period of time that you haven't been doing that. But how did you really get into saying, let me record some songs now?
So first of all, I started with covers, a few covers. I think I did a Pompey cover that, kind of brought me onto the scene. It's a week, no rent by Pompey.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I was in Kafue. I moved to Lusaka for school. And then I started, backing these artists. I was Ephraim's BV for quite some time. And that process was so wonderful. I learned so many things under him, and I grew a whole lot. And then I started backing Chile Chevalier for some time as well. I backed different artists. And then that kind of just makes you have understanding to what you're getting into, really. And then I think in my third year of university, I recorded my first single, which was Niwe Nasala. I released that.
How did it do?
It did quite great. I don't know about out there, but for me,
it did well.
It did well.
Yeah.
As a first song, it did well. I was so happy to have it out there.
It touched you.
It touched me. I was like, oh my God, Lord, I'm finally here. I'm finally doing what you called me to do. And from then on, it's been one single after the other. And now I have management. So it's becoming much, 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 much easier to do. As the big man was saying earlier on, I think I was watching the show.
Oh, okay, let's talk about university and your first single and the backing of other artists, big artists. And of course, when you talk about Ephraim, for example, was at one point having a lot of shows that I think he had to really go through a lot of shows. How were you managing to go through all these things, and probably even school and church and yourself?
I think the schedule there was pretty much favorable, because I would have class during the day. Our rehearsal would be at 17 to about 20, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So you have your classes in the evening, you have your rehearsal, you go back home, you study. There was no sleep. You study, you sleep for a few hours, same routine again. So by the grace of God, I never failed.
That's a good thing. You had the grace.
Yes, by the grace of God, I managed to make sure that I didn't get distracted, because sometimes what happens is, as a young creative, the minute you know that I'm talented in this line, and you start catching to my small monies, we lose focus. it's very easy
And
to just say,
fame.
yes, nanga school we intela chentao, you know, you leave it.
Yeah, there's so many artists that have left school because they felt like I have to concentrate on music. But why did you continue?
I would tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You need that education. You need it. Even for your ministry, you need it. You need you need to understand. You need to have perspective of what you are doing and what you're getting yourself into. The big man, when I was watching the show earlier here, he was talking about copyrights. You need to know what that is. You need understanding of, you know, distribution and all of these. My manager is well educated in those things. And sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? He will try and explain. I'm like, okay, I understand.
How did you meet your manager?
Understand. I actually met him in school. I met him in university. He was working at Cavendish, and it was just a small conversation we had. Oh no, this is what I do. This is what I do, and stuff like that. And I've never met anyone in Zambia that has better understanding of streaming and all those things out there, like just distribution of music and how to get revenue from that. I've never met anybody that has a better understanding than my manager ever, and it was a good moment for me, and it's been doing good for me in my ministry.
Let's talk about other singles that started coming, and how have you found music, especially that now you've gotten into it, and the music industry per se. How have you found it?
The music industry is in a good place, is in a better place than before. And I think we are growing. So when I hear people say, no, there's no growth, I'm like, are you sure? Let's go back a few years and then come back. You will see the growth. You will see the unity that is there. And now we have, you know, the Music Association of Zambia. If you have had a chance to talk to Biflo about it, he will tell you that development and growing and improvement doesn't happen overnight. Of course, there's still a lot that we must do, but it's in the pipeline. You know, when we talk about all these things, no, we're not united, no, it's not growing. It's there. It's growing. The improvement is there, slowly but sure. Just have faith. Just have faith. You know, growth sometimes is also personal. We keep saying, no, the music industry is not growing. What are you doing to make sure that
yourself, and then you want the
yourself, you're not doing anything to improve your personal brand. You're not doing anything to improve, you know, your outlook and the outlook of your music, but you want the music industry at large to grow. It can't grow at large if you're not growing, because your growth means that the music industry in Zambia is growing. So sometimes I'm really like, oh, okay. When I hear people say that.
Yeah, let me have an understanding on how you write your lyrics or your songs. You write your own songs? All
Yes,
the songs?
I do. Yes, I do.
You do write? Okay, so how do you write them? Do you sleep and...
Man, let me not laugh, because sometimes there's people who wake up and say, no, I heard this song when I was
sleeping. Sometimes you see somebody was walking and then he sees something and then he creates a song.
That's very, very true. Creativity is mystery. The giftings of the Lord are mysterious. Oh my God. I'm constantly in awe of God's giftings and his doings. So don't mind me.
No, you're rubbing some grace.
Please receive it. So how I write my songs, like you said, sometimes people see something and they start writing. For me, sometimes I just get like a tune, and then I really love this tune. I keep singing this tune. And then I sit down and I'm like, what message fits better into this tune? And I write with perspective. Usually my songs are attached to my experience with the Holy Spirit and with the Lord. I've never so far written a song that hasn't come from my experience or from within. Yeah, because I think that sometimes you can't minister, as a matter of fact, always, you can't minister to people what has not ministered to you yet. You get it, right?
Yeah.
There's other people who are just gifted, they, you know, through prayer and what they download from the, you know, the Spirit. But for me, currently, all the singles I've done are as a result of my experience with the Lord. It has ministered to me. Let it minister.
How has been the growth in terms of how you've done your music, the singles that you've done? How has it made you grow as a person, as an artist as well?
So in 2024, I won an award, the RCV Award, the best up and coming gospel musician in Zambia. And you can really tell the growth. Even if you go to my YouTube and just check, you would tell the growth that from let me say Mercy. I have a song called Mercy. From Mercy, the standard has been raising. And I always feel that after I raise to a certain standard, that I can't do anything below that anymore. Yeah. Like the stake just has to keep rising, you know what I mean?
So the competition is against
the
yourself.
competition is against myself itself. And that's why I'm saying the music industry will not grow if you are not growing.
Yeah.
The competition is within yourself. It's not against any other artist. It's just with you alone. I put pressure, so much pressure on my management team. Like, I love them so much, but sometimes I just do for Kadala. I'm like, okay, my no is my no. Chapa, this is what we're doing. Because I know that we need to improve, right? Yeah. Like, we need to constantly improve. There should always be a difference from a single that I've done today, the one that just came out yesterday. The next one you will see, you must go and look at the last one and say, Deborah, okay, this is good. Yeah. This is good from the last one you did. I will come again on this show, and you must watch the single I've done now and the single I would do, and you must tell me if there will be any growth. If there will not be any growth, I will say, sir, thank you very much. I will go back and do better. The competition is
so you take criticism better?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about, I know that in the music industry, those that will laugh with you, and probably they don't really support you, and especially in as far as gospel is concerned, there are so many people that have been saying that there are a lot of pretenders. Not that in the world there are no pretenders, there are, but in the gospel, you expect people to move in the same direction because you are preaching, unless others don't take it as preaching. But most of them that I know, it's about preaching. So how have you been received and helped? And do you really think that secular has helped you, or gospel
has helped me? The truth is, you said a word. There's a word you use. You said expectation.
Yeah.
That's why we get it all wrong. Why are you expecting people to support you in the first place? Nobody owes you support. Nobody owes you anything, right? You are privileged when you find people supporting you, and it's really by the grace of God. But I'm not going to sit here and be offended because nobody supported me, nobody shared my song. I'm not going to be offended. I'm just simply going to ask, hi ma, I did a song, but I didn't get the reaction I expected. What do you think I did wrong? What do you think I can do better? Nobody owes you any support. But coming to the gospel industry, I've been very well supported. I think all the big artists in Zambia, the big gospel artists, I'm their baby. I can call them anytime. Hi, Mama Doreen, I need help. Please guide me on ABCD. Hi, Deborah Mambo, please, I need guidance on ABCD. Sometimes it's also the way you approach these people. It's the way you present yourself to these people. Are you one with a gentle and humble spirit? Are you willing to learn? Or you just want to arrive and you want everybody to accord you respect and support? Nobody owes you any respect. You earn respect by the works and the improvement that you bring.
And also acknowledgement. You have to acknowledge them, that they're there.
Absolutely.
They've been around there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about your single that you launched yesterday. What about it?
Tuso. Did you listen to the song?
Not yet.
Gotcha.
It launched on a day when I'm too busy with other programs like sports. So yeah.
And first of all, I'm so grateful to Prime TV because you guys have been such a big support. Every time
we support good music.
You see, every time I launch a song, PMC is always like, oh no, we've played your song, and that is without asking. I think Prime TV is doing such an amazing work in the in the music industry, and we are so grateful. I launched my song yesterday, Tuso, which means help in Lozi. And it was such an amazing experience. It's the first time I've done a song like that. It's different from all the other singles that I've done. It had so much work. I did it with Mark 44 and Benaya, as well as Eric. They were the ones on the technical side of things.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing experience. And I think going forward, I will look more into live gospel music because I loved what it did for me. And
and it's easier for you to perform.
It's easy.
So did you have any collaboration? You said on the technical side, Magnum 44 or Mag 44, and I think he's been one of those great guys in terms of production. I think he's been a very good producer. But did you have any that you featured in
so
the song?
far, I haven't collaborated with any
from all the singles that you have.
From all the singles that I've done.
Do you expect to have one?
Absolutely, yes. I hope to have, but in this song specifically, I didn't. It was just me and my friends and my family that were able to jump in and do the BVs with me, and the team, the technical guys, the producers. So
if a secular artist were to really come to you, probably a rapper or something, because you've got a very good
I saw
voice,
this question coming.
a very nice voice that you have, and then they give you a hook for you to sing in that song. Would you feature?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Like I said, I'm here to preach the gospel.
Yeah, even then you teach them the gospel and they will learn and they will do it in the song. So what criteria do you follow for you to? I know that you never featured anyone, but of course you need to have a criteria if you have to really turn me down. I'm an artist and I approach you. I want you to be in my song. How do you turn me down without me feeling bad?
You didn't specify. You said you're an artist, a gospel artist.
I'm talking about the secular artist.
Secular artist. You know, Pompey did something interesting.
Yeah.
I think he said any secular artist that wants to feature him should come to church consistently.
There was one that went to church too.
Yes.
For 2 weeks and he was there.
Pompey is so smart. Like, I'm going to literally drag you to.
I do remember that there was also, I think Ebocho talked about that as well.
Yeah.
He had somebody that he was working with, and they did the same things. So is Pompey, and I think he was taken to church so many times for him to do a collab with some guy.
And the truth is, like, here's my take, right?
Yeah.
Our job is to preach the gospel. My job is to preach the gospel out there. Oh, how I would love to preach the gospel to anyone, secular artist, anybody. Preaching the gospel is the job, right?
Yeah.
And what I would say there is I don't want to do anything that has no impact. I don't want to do anything that has no result. So if a secular artist comes today and say, let's do a song, okay, what song, what's the impact? What's the spirit behind the song that we are going to do? What's the aim behind that song that we're going to do? And if I don't get those answers, then I'm afraid I'm not going to do that song.
Don't you think if you feature in that song, because you tap into his audience, and then you preach to them, the lines that you're going to sing, you preach to them. Don't you think that is an advantage for you to maximize your?
But ministry is not about the audience.
It's about what?
God is the one who provides the audience. If the Lord has said, Deborah, it's time for you to preach to the audience that secular artist has, trust me, the music will reach them. Through them or without them, the music will reach them. I don't think the audience. No, God provides the audience.
All right. So, what if a rapper from a gospel rapper? Can you?
You're fighting.
I just want to get the perspective of.
No, I think for now, let me just say I'll use the Pompey strategy. Go to church for 1 year with me, and then come back and let's talk nicely.
I hope you don't do the same things when dating. Anyway.
You're fighting.
All right, so can you give us a snippet of the song? I know you were coughing, but I think we really need to hear that.
Yeah.
Just a snippet of the song that you launched yesterday as we conclude.
Tusoyak Izwela kumulena Okumulena, and I will never stumble and fall. Tuso Izwela kumulena. When they say there is a casting down of men, Toso iswala kumulena.
That's nice.
Thank you so much.
That's nice, really. As we go, you can speak in that camera and just tell the viewers out there about the song and probably your concluding remarks. I don't want to say the last remarks as if you're dying, so yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Deborah of Akama, and I just released my newest single, Tuso. It is available on all digital streaming platforms, so please go and listen to it, go and indulge, go and feast, and I pray that the Lord blesses you. Thank you.
By the way, your social media handles, maybe some people would like to follow you. I'm sure that you do post some
Deborah Overcomer on every media platform. Yes.
That's Instagram.
Deborah Overcomer all the way. Yes.
X is Twitter. So yeah.
But not changes in that.
Yeah. It's X now.
Yes.
So kuma Instagram, kuma Facebook, kuma midadad.
Yeah. Deborah Overcomer everywhere.
All right. It's good talking to you, and thank you very much. We will call you again so that you come and preach. Just preaching, no singing.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so that is Deborah Overcomer. I know that not Overcomer is not her surname. Yeah. So let's get to the song, and we get back and just briefly to the song, and then we get back and do just briefly about sports updates.
Popoli mutumba na mwena emoshiri no mutemwikwa obe pwali lishaka munzoli wape nasema wape sasa wape
angas mina ngizoyithindaba.
Oh baby Jack, come on. Oh baby Jack, give me this your love. Me I go show you love. Zagukunda, uteteshe, mama yeah.